Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining our special session webinar today on Construction Safety Week. My name is Holly Gibson, VP of Growth here at UDA Technologies, and I'm joined by my colleague, Carly Orlando, a Senior Customer Success Coordinator who works with thousands of clients every week.
Hello, everyone.
Now, for those of you who are new to Construction Online is our leading project management and estimating software serving over 950,000 users all over the world. We are excited to have you here today and have some great content planned with actionable insights and even a brand new free resource that we'll be providing after the webinar is over. So we can't wait to jump in, but Carly, before we get started looking at Construction Online, maybe you could tell us just a little bit about Construction Safety Week.
Yeah, so Construction Safety Week is an annual week-long industry event focused on a shared commitment to sending every worker home safely every day. It's also a great time for us to reflect on how the systems and tools that we're using can help us stay compliant and improve job site safety.
Well, that definitely sounds like, a great goal and something that we can get behind. I know when you were telling me about Construction Safety Week, you were saying that, there is a different theme each year that they decide on, I guess, really to sort of focus on for that week out of the year. And that, the theme for this year just really aligned so much with what Construction Online provides and what you see your customers doing in the system. What is the theme for this year and how do you see it lining up?
Yeah, so each year they do use a different theme. And this year's theme, I just loved it because it was so approachable and easy to understand and clear. And it's all in together, plan, own, and commit. So, in their words, that is planning or anticipating potential safety issues so that you can adjust them with precision and purpose, owning them, so taking personal responsibility, because really we all know that everyone plays a role in maintaining job site safety, and committing, which is, in their words, applying the same level of care and attention to safety as you do with your daily work.
Yeah, as you do with anything else. So I think it's just such a great reminder that safety, just like all parts of managing a project, really require us to be, intentional and focus on that. And of course, luckily for our Construction Online users, we do have a fantastic tool set in place to really support those efforts. So let's go ahead and jump in. I know we just wanted to start at the beginning with planning. What do you see as far as your users or what you recommend in Construction Online? Like if someone's looking to get started and implement, that planning for safety in their account, where are you recommending they go first? Tell us about some easy ways to get started.
Yeah, so when we're considering planning and the way they put it, which is anticipating potential safety issues, that's really what I work with a ton of my clients on as we are starting with the success program. So making sure that all of their training is moving forward smoothly. And kind of the first place that I start with my success trainings is actually a great place and one of the most simple and practical places to start planning for safety, which is going to be in file management. So if you look in my account, you can see that I have a ton of example content built in. Now, these are going to be in my company files. So company files let you share key documents with your entire team, be that safety info, hazardous material warnings, OSHA safety regulations, and more. So you can really choose to build out these folders in a way where you can break down that information and make it as easily accessible for your employees as possible so they have a place to come back and reference those safety methods. Additionally, I know that we are giving away an employee safety manual, which we're giving away as a free gift. And I think that you were planning on telling us more about that, right, Holly?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to. Carly, I love looking at your account. It reminds us that, it really doesn't have to be super complicated. I mean, the file management is such a great place to get started. part of a great safety program is just making sure that everyone on the project team has access to all the information that they need. And this is such an easy way to do it. Now, to support our users in that, one of the things that we decided to offer starting now with Construction Safety Week, but we'll continue to offer this, is an employee safety manual template. I know you have it loaded in here, so we'll take a quick preview. But one thing that we've always provided our clients is the opportunity to purchase things like contract templates, documents, different documentation that they may need to use, in their business. And the safety manual template is definitely an important addition to that lineup. Now, the great thing about it, we can see that it's been uploaded here. But one great thing about it is that we'll be providing it to you in an editable Word doc or Google document format, which means that the intention here is that you can take this safety manual template um, and go through and really customize it to the standards that you want your team to follow, maybe make some tweaks if there's specific, regulations, maybe even in your state or where a project is located. You can go in and really get a solid safety program in place, customize this to your needs. So we will have that available to share with you after the webinar. Anyone who wants one, you can go ahead and send us a chat or a question here. We'll make sure to get you first on the list, but we'll get that sent out to everyone afterwards. It's a great resource, and we'll have some additional documentation to go along with it, like a signature sheet, a subcontractor safety document as well. So really just an overall great addition to your safety program.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've seen so many of my successful clients do is they will even have a section in their company files where they'll have their safety, but they may also include things like employee handbooks or requirements where you can put things like that safety manual as part of the things that they need to go through when you're onboarding those new employees, which I just have found they find super helpful. And it makes that process of getting a new employee and onboarding them into your company so much easier because they already have those expectations set for them. Now, Holly, I know that I wanted to highlight two main features when it comes to planning for safety, but I did want to throw out a couple honorable mentions. So, one thing that I had talked to you about previously with my client that had actually used Redline Plan Room to go in and actually document areas where there were certain safety hazards or areas that required certain safety precautions. I know I had a remodeler client that used that for like things like lead paint removal or asbestos removal. So this is kind of a quick example that you can see in my account, but you can use Redline Plan Room markups to do things like hard hat requirements, document where different PPE needs to be used, or even do things as minor as find areas where you may have workers come in and experience bottlenecks or run into each other, or areas where there might be a lot of people and ladders at the same time where you may have fall precautions that need to be followed. So, this can be another great resource to go in for communicating with your team.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a great idea. I loved when you were telling me about your client who had done this. I think it's such a great use of Redline. And it, again, a great example of how we're pulling that focus on safety into kind of every area of planning. Now, I know that when we're kind of looking at planning, another big thing that you had mentioned to me, Carly, that you will often share with folks and see a lot of people do is start to use the checklist feature in Construction Online to put together safety checklists and inspections or guidelines that they want people to follow throughout the project. Maybe tell me a little bit about what you're seeing or share some best practices for people.
Yeah, for sure. So when you're going in to Construction Online and you're actually accessing the checklist feature, one thing that I have found just so great about it is that with these checklists, you can get as granular or as simple as that you want. So I have two examples here in my account that I'm about to pull up. The first is just kind of a basic safety checklist that you can go through that kind of goes over the basics. So, personal protective equipment, you can go in and see information about ladders or scaffolds. But if for some reason, let's say you wanted something more granular or you're going to be doing a lot more hazardous work, you want something that's built out a little bit more, you can go in and really get into the nitty gritty of how you're managing those jobs. Now, with these checklists, when you're working in them, this also leads into kind of the second point, which is kind of owning that commitment and making sure that you're holding yourself accountable. Because when you go in and you're finishing your checklist, you can actually go in and you can click at the bottom to do an e-signature. So if you're doing like a safety briefing at a job site or you're going through as part of your pre-construction checklist and you're filling those e-signatures out, you can go in and see where those needs are being met, where your project supervisors are at, and you can go in and document those and keep them for your own convenience and record keeping purposes. This is also accessible through the mobile app, so you can access it on your tablets, not just on your laptop, which makes it even that much more available and helps you own that commitment to maintaining safety.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's great too, because I noticed here, there's an option to add really as many signatures as you need. So if you've taken the time to go ahead and, you know, get these safety checklists in order, as part really of that planning process. Put the things in place that you need. Then, someone's on the job site using this with their mobile application. Maybe they're walking through with someone. You can actually have multiple people sign off on it, and that then becomes part of your record, and also just really make sure that everyone's on the same page as far as the safety goes. Now, I know, Carly, when we're looking at really that commitment and owning that day-to-day accountability for safety, looking at checklists, this is such a fantastic tool. But I know, one of the go-tos here is for sure going to be daily logging, that really has some great safety tools already built in as well to support folks' efforts there. I guess where do we start with logging? I know there's so many ways that people can use it. What do you normally recommend we look at first?
Yeah, so when you're looking in the daily logging section, with the basic daily logging, you do have some safety logs that are already pre-built into the system for you. So if you're looking at these daily logs, when you go into safety log, you can do things like document the type of safety concern, when compliance is due, the associated safety notice, and things like that. So when you're looking at those, you can really go in and see, hey, how am I maintaining these safe job sites? How are these safety meetings getting addressed? Are my safety warnings being heeded? Things like that. So you can really go in and get that level of commitment and ownership and personal accountability on safety matters at the job site. So you can create as many of these as you need. And even some of these fields are customizable. So if you want to go in and click that little gear icon, you can go in and customize that drop down to add as many different safety notices as you need to.
I love this. What's preloaded in the system is a way for you to document things like a safety warning or violation if an accident occurs, which, the benefit really of selecting this type is later on, let's say a year down the road, you need to go back and pull a report to say, how many accidents did we have on the job site between January and March? You're able to pull that information and filter it out very quickly. You can also record those safety meetings or safety trainings. But like you mentioned, Carly, if you have specific other things that you want to document, you can change that as well. And then there's some other tools, if we wanted to customize even more. I know that Carly, you've also seen some people really make great use of the custom log feature for that as well.
Right. So custom logs are a newer feature in Construction Online that we released that allow you to really go in and determine how you want your employees to be filling out logs. So I have an example in my account. It's this Eagle Rock log. But if I go in and I'm showing you, you can go in and customize the different sections and tailor those to your companies with specific questions and answer requirements. So when you're looking at these daily logs, you are able to go in, address them, get however much granularity you need, and you can combine this log with other log types. Like you can see here, you can do equipment logs. But what I've seen my most successful companies do is they will just have one big long custom log where they have safety as a whole section that they can go through and make sure, as part of that owning and accountability, that their employees are going in and documenting those safety concerns. Now, additionally, Holly, with the new advanced daily logging, you can go in and set certain log types as required. So if you need to go in, you can say things like, hey, this information needs to be filled out, and you can let your site supervisors know that certain information isn't being completed or that certain daily logs are not being done, which can help with that process and help you make sure that you're holding your team accountable.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see an example of that here. So let's just say that we wanted, or can manage these required logs here. If we wanted to make sure that, like, if you had made a custom log, for example, or a safety log that you wanted to have done every single day, you can, of course, choose those what the requirement is, and then you'll notice as well there's an option to send an email notification if the required logs are not done during a specific day. So what's great about that is you have the system for sending reminders, just reminding people to do it. And then you also have a way to be alerted, like in the event that they're not done. That way, if you need to follow up with someone or just be aware that, like, hey, that wasn't documented today, then you definitely, have those tools available. You'll notice here where I have the required logs, I can see that the safety log has that green check mark. It was completed today. That is a requirement. But my custom log has not been done yet. So we'll have to give my team a little more time to do that. But those are just some great ways to ensure that these logs are happening. And kind of going back to that, owning and taking that day-to-day responsibility, you want to have that ownership in place, and you also want to provide yourself and your team with tools that are going to support them in those efforts. So being able to set things like requirements that are clear for everyone, reminders, those are such powerful ways to just really increase that ownership.
Right. And with the new advanced daily logging as well, you can also use the complete and distribute feature. So, with that, if you have a site supervisor or a project manager or a safety coordinator, they can go through at the end of the day and mark those daily logs as finalized to really lock in that documentation, preventing further edits, and really holding you not only in a better state of mitigating that liability, but also making sure that that accountability is being taken and making sure that information is getting submitted on top of those reminder features as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that's great about this, and you can see kind of, I've marked my log, I've signed off on today, I've marked it as complete and chose the option to distribute, which means that, everyone on the project team that you want to receive this daily report is going to get it. And of course, that's going to include safety information, along with other things. I mean, I think that's when we think about having a good safety program in place. Of course, it doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's not like safety is the only thing that has to be reported on every day. So it's important to have those tools as part of just that daily normal reporting process. We're able to report on job site progress, materials that were used or visitors that came to the site, as well as, specific safety documentation, everything right there in one place, and then all of that information going out to the project team. Now, someone did ask, just looking at some of the questions um, that you all are asking us. Of course, we won't be able to go through all of them today, but someone asked a great question here if there's just a way that the safety logs can be used just internally. And there absolutely is. I mean, that is the great thing here about logging is that, it can be used as an internal tool for your team members. If you don't want to share the content of those logs with clients, you absolutely do not have to. If you do not need for your subcontractors to enter that information, again, they don't have to do that. So you can really keep it to just your internal team and use it in that way.
Right. And I just think that's so important. I think this daily logging feature, especially with some of the tools like completing and distributing or the required log, also help bridge that gap. So, of course, those um, organizers of Construction Safety Week did have their final point as commitment, which is sustaining safety over time and making a
Mhm.
commitment. So, that can really help bridge that gap into sustaining that safety. Another great tool that's available within the daily log is that you can go in and you can see those on a calendar view. And the calendar feature in Construction Online is something that I see clients use all the time for making sure that they're keeping track of recurring safety events, if that's an inspection or a meeting. So when you go into those project calendars, you can even see, for example, I have a few examples on mine of things like safety briefings and document those times and invite your employees, keeping everybody on those pages from the very beginning that you have either the schedule made for that job or when you start to go in and build out your calendar for how you want that job to go. Things as simple as going through and just putting safety meetings, putting briefings, inspections, things like that on there can really help ensure that safety stays a consistent priority throughout the year, not just a one time focus like it would be during Construction Safety Week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what I love about that, Carly, is just the visibility. And again, this isn't, this is something pretty simple and straightforward that you can put into place today, but just making sure that, you know, that those things are planned for. The very act of just say putting a weekly safety meeting on the calendar sends a message that, hey, this is something that's important to us. This is something as an organization that we're going to do on a regular basis, and it allows everyone to not only see like when the meeting is supposed to happen, which is very useful, but it also is just really reinforcing the importance of it. Hey, this is an important enough thing to get its spot on the calendar, or this is important enough to show up on our job schedule to see these different safety inspection points or meetings happening. So I think that's what I love about some of these really action points that you've brought up is that they are straightforward. I think that, when we look at those of you listening to this, whether it's live or the recording later, these are things that you can take away and go put into place right now in your Construction Online account. You can start implementing some of these if you're not doing so already. They are easy to get started with, but do make, a big impact towards supporting that safety. Now, Carly, is there anything else like, okay, so when we think about committing and making that commitment over time, um, I think these are such great tools to do that. I mean, how would you, what's your, what, what other things do you see people doing, or are there other, other tools or anything else that you want to highlight kind of in that area?
Yeah, and one of the things that makes Construction Online so interesting is that our product portfolio does have so many tools that can be used to maintain safety, but also just kind of reduce liability in the long run. So things like change order management can help prevent improper or improper work on the job site or unsafe improvisation. Same thing with RFIs and submittals, making sure that everyone is on the same team with how that information is being communicated so that no one is left not knowing about a specification for a material or not knowing that the architect has actually recommended something different, so on and so forth. Really just making sure that people are keeping on the same team. Now, when we're looking at that, I mean, it kind of goes so well in hand. I want to just bring back to what you were saying earlier, Holly, because when you look at the history of Construction Safety Week, one of their goals is to make the culture of the construction industry a safer culture and really have a massive impact and shift in the way we see construction in terms of safety and managing job site safety so that it's a more reinforced thing throughout the year moving forward. And definitely that was part of the reason that Construction Safety Week was implemented in the first place. So there are definitely tools in Construction Online, but these are what I would say the biggest highlights that we see people really using to improve their company's safety record and making sure that their team is getting home safely every evening to their families.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as we, such, by the way, Carly, thank you so much for just pulling this content together. Um, you are sitting in a unique spot in that you get to talk to so many clients on a weekly basis, people that are just getting started, people that are really experts in construction online, and see not only what the industry is recommending as far as safety practices or things that are being highlighted this week, but really what we see real users putting into place every single day, every single day in the system. So these are, I think, really valuable takeaways that, that people can go in and begin implementing now. A couple of quick just reminders or things to land on as we get ready to wrap up the session today. One, I wanted to come back to this employee safety manual. So, we will send this out. You'll see some emails coming out from our team here at Construction Online, letting you know when it's ready. If it's something that you're really, really interested in and you want kind of the inside, track, if you want to be one of the first people that gets it, feel free to just like drop a message or question in the chat here, or you can even, email me directly if you'd like. We can share our email address, but really, just let us know. This will be a great resource. And something that we want to get in your hands. So more information about that coming soon. Carly, I know that we also, just a couple of things on the logging. There are, when we look at the daily logging, there are certain aspects to the daily log that really everyone has access to. If your account has logging at all, then you can have that. There are certain more advanced functions that are a part of that advanced daily logging, which is available for users of that business level plan and above, and also available as an add-on. So it's something that if you go in your Construction Online account and maybe you are not at that business account level and you don't see some of the advanced features like your custom log or your log requirements that you can set, and you want to start putting those in place, feel free to reach out to Carly or myself. Either one of us can help you with that. We are offering a 10% savings on that add-on for Safety Week. So it's a great time to get that in place. Or we can talk to you about upgrading, on up to the next level. So those will be for sure options for everyone. But just wanted to point out that you do have a discount or savings opportunity available for you this week. And I know, Carly, there's tons of other benefits that I'm probably forgetting to highlight, but it is a super easy thing to add on.
And I would say that it's one of the more popular add-ons that my personal success clients have done. Tons of them have added on that advanced daily logging just because they like that required log. They like the accountability that comes with it and the ability to really customize and tailor those logs to their company's needs.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I guess maybe the final thing to land on, and thank you. I see so many of you have let me know that you do want that safety manual, so I'll make note of who you are, and we'll be sure to reach out ASAP. But Carly, as we're wrapping up, if someone's watching today and they are, you know, getting lots of ideas, but they're not really sure how to start implementing it, or maybe want a little more guidance, what should they do next? What help can we offer here?
So there's a couple things, kind of just to reiterate the main points of today. You always want to make sure that you're planning. So when you're looking into the original creation of your job, when you're starting to build those projects in Construction Online, even features that you may not think of as being relevant to safety, like file management. You can do so much to improve your company's culture by having those policies readily available, having that super easily accessible to your clients, using things like the calendars to make sure that you are putting it on there just for visibility, safety meetings, safety briefings, things like that. Going through and making sure that you are encouraging your employees to create their daily logs and that they're adequately documenting any safety concerns, and really having an environment where it is okay for them to bring you those safety concerns, and it is welcome for those because you have made that commitment to it. So that's kind of what I would really recommend is just go through the features in Construction Online. And of course, we're always here for training or phone support or chat support if you need it. And you're welcome to reach out to us with any questions if you do need that assistance in making your company culture more safety oriented.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we will have the recording of this session available. So for anyone that wants to go back and watch it, maybe get some ideas about how to structure, your folders or how to put your checklist together. Of course, you can go back and watch that. And we would be happy to do like a one-on-one session with you. Also, in addition to the safety manual that we'll be offering, if you look at any of our checklists or things like that we have, usually those are things that we can send over to you as well to import into your own Construction Online account. So again, just feel free to reach out and ask for what you need. I know Carly and really the entire success team is always such a wealth of information and great content. Please make sure you're taking advantage of that. But I think with that, I know we are a couple of minutes over. That wraps us up for today, but we just want to thank all of you for taking time out of your day to join us, and we hope to see you at the next one.